أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وأصحابه الأخيار أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We continue with our readings on التحفة السنية بشرح المقدمة الآجرومية in our basic Arabic grammar series. Previously, we've read I think al-mubtada wal-khabar, right? Bab al-mubtada wal-khabar. From this material, we are going to look at the next topic, which is the nawasikh al-mubtada'i wal-khabar. This topic, if you look at the nizam of our lessons on this channel, we try to stay on a level, so we don't go and bring a higher class material as we are doing a lower class material, such that we confuse our followers. We try to stick with the same level, such that if you have gone through the النحو الواضح, the للمرحلة الابتدائية, you've gone through the شرح of الآجرومية by Ibn Uthaymin, you've gone through some of the نحو, you've realized that they all complement each other, such that before you are done, you would be very strong in the foundation. Now, in Nahu and even in Sarf, Balaga, all of these sciences, it is the foundation that is the most critical. The foundation should be very strong. A lot of people, they go into secondary materials not having the usul, not having the asas. The foundation is not strong. So you realize that they have an idea of some big stuff, but they don't really know where it was built from. And so their ideas are not constructive. You find the ideas being shaky, Jamil. So you see this nawasikh al-mubtada wal-khabar treated in the an-nahu al-wadih. You would have seen it treated in the sharh of Ajrumiya by Ibn Uthaymin. So you have an idea already. So here is just a top-up, a refreshing. We are just going to refresh our minds. And if you've not done it there, this will be your first time doing it, and that is fine. When we say an-nawasikh, that is the plural of nasikhun. When we say nasakha shay, bimana to wipe the thing, or to take out the thing, or sometimes nasakha comes to copy the thing. Nasakha, when you are using phone or computer in Arabic mode and you right click, you see that the copy will come nasakh. You see the nun sin kha there. But then an-nawasikh here means to kind of alter, or to change something, or to wipe a particular ruling. Jamil. So when we say nawasikhul mubtada'i wal khabar, we mean those things that, or those awamil, I think now I'm safe to use that terminology. Those awamil, factors that affect that wipes away the normal ruling or the hukum of the mubtada and khabar that we are used to. They wipe them away and give them a new ruling. Jamil. I think that is what we see in the verse ma nansakh min ayatin aw nunsiha nati bi khairin minha, or something like that. Now, Sheikh says nawasikh al-mubtada wal khabar. He says babul awamil al-dakhilati ala al-mubtada'i wal khabar. This chapter is going to look at those awamil that ad-dakhila, that precedes or that enters into the al-mubtada and khabar. Basically, you can say ad-dakhilati ala al-jumlat al-ismiyya, that enters into the jumla ismiyya. And what does it do? It says وَهِيَ ثَلَاثَةُ أَشْيَاء. These three things, this awamil that enters into jumla ismiya and causes some changes in there, there are three things. Jamil. These three things, what are they? He says kana wa akhawatuha, kana and his sisters. And then you have inna wa akhawatuha, inna and his sisters. And then he says wa zanantu wa akhawatuha. Says zanantu, yani is zanna wa akhawatuha. Since he has said kana, he has said inna, then zanna wa akhawatuha, zanna and his sisters. So you have kana wa akhawatuha, inna wa akhawatuha, zanna wa akhawatuha. These three things, the kana and its sisters, it has a number of articles or a number of verbs that are in the same group with it. Inna as well has a number of articles that are in the same group with it. Likewise, zanna, it has a number of verbs that are in the same category. These three categories of words, they precede a jumla ismiya and they cause some obstructions in the normal hukum of jumla ismiya that we know, which is the mubtada marfu and khabar marfu. Let's go into it and look at what is really there. He says, قد مر معنا أن المبتدأ والخبر مرفوعان. We've seen previously that mubtada and khabar, they are both marfu. ولكن قد يدخل عليهما أحد العوامل اللفظية فتغير إعرابهما. Says one of the awamil al-lafziyya. This awamil, as I've said, in the mubtada and khabar, we spoke about the al-awamil al-ma'nawiyya and then the al-awamil al-lafziyya. Now, this al-awamil that are lafziyya, yani you can see them, they are words. They sometimes enter into jumla ismiyya, فَتُغَيِّرُ إِعْرَابَهُمَا. Then it changes the i'rab of these two mubtada and khabar. Says, وَهَذِهِ الْأَوَامِلِ here, these factors, these awamil, they are: 1. قسم يدخل على المبتدأ والخبر فيرفع المبتدأ وينصب الخبر وذلك كان وأخواتها. Says there is first category is the one that precedes the jumla ismiya and then it causes the mubtada to be marfu, yani it will create its own raf'u for the mubtada, not the original mubtada of the marfu. Remember that we said that mubtada is raf'u, the amil is an amil ma'nawi. It is not a word that is causing the raf'u. So let's say you see this same mubtada, something precedes it and the raf'u is there. Know that that particular thing is causing the raf'u now, doesn't keep the mubtada still being mubtada. What do I mean? Let me clarify. Well, we said when you see something like al-waladu tawilun, al-waladu is marfu'un bimaza. What caused it to be marfu'? It is a particular thing that is not mentioned. It is understood. It is an abstract. You say mubtada marfu'un bil ibtida. It is marfu' because of the concept of ibtida, beginning the sentence. وعلامة رفعه الضمة. Then the khabar طويل or جميل خبر مرفوع بالمبتدا. The khabar is made marfu because of the mubtada. وعلامة رفعه الضمة ظاهرة على آخره. Now, then all of a sudden you hear me say كان الولد طويل. Now mubtada is no more having the ibtida. The concept of ibtida is no more there. Kana has taken over. So kana is the one that is the amil that is causing the raf'u now. So we do not have the mubtada again. So you have to understand this concept very well. So now this word that was mubtada, we will now find another name for it, which you will see right now. So he gives an example, then he says, كان العمل متعبا. كان العمل متعبا. The work was difficult. Kana means was. We will see the meaning of all of them. So in this case, kana is فعل ماضي ناقص ناسخ, if you want, مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب. And then the العمل here becomes اسم كان. اسم كان. There is no more مبتدا. It is اسم كان مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة الظاهرة على آخره. Then the متعبا becomes خبر مرفوع خبر كان. خبر كان منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة. So the اسم كان is مرفوع, the خبر كان is منصوب. The work was stressful. كان العمل متعبا. And then we have the second category, which is قسم يدخل على المبتدأ والخبر فينصب المبتدأ ويرفع الخبر وذلك إن وأخواتها. إن الحياة جميلة. We have a second group that precedes the jumla ismiya and then it causes the mubtada rather to be mansub and it causes the khabar to be marfu. And this category is the inna wa akhawatuha. That is what they do. Inna and any of its sisters, when they precede the mubtada and the khabar, they cause the mubtada to be mansub and they cause the khabar to be marfu. And now the mubtada isn't called mubtada again. So we say, as he brought here, Innal hayata jamilatun. Indeed, life is beautiful. Inna, you harf nasbin, أو inna harf tawkidin nasikhun, or harf tawkidin wa nasb nasikhun. If you want, you can add that. Then مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب. In some إعراب, you know, إعراب is just expression. In some إعراب you hear حرف مشبه بالفعل مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب. Or you hear حرف مشبه بالفعل ناصب مبني على الفتح لا محل له من الإعراب. Sometimes you hear حرف مشبه بالفعل أو حرف ناسخ مشبه بالفعل مبني على الفتح لا محل له من. A lot of expression, all of them they point to the same thing. And then the al-hayat becomes ismu inna mansub wa alamatu nasbihi al-fatha. Then jamilatun khabaru inna marfu wa alamatu raf'ihi ad-damma az-zahira ala akhirih. Jamil. With this said, the third category, of course, we now have one that makes the mubtada marfu khabar mansub. The second makes the mubtada mansub the khabar marfu. Let's look at the third. What does it cause? It says kismun yansubuhuma ma'an ala annahuma maf'ulani lahu wa huwa zanna wa akhwatuha. Said we have the third category of the nawasikh. It causes the mubtada to be mansub and the khabar to be mansub, turning both of them into maf'ul awwal, maf'ul thani for the verb. And this category is the zanna and its sisters. When you use the zanna, you have zanna, you have the fa'il, and then you have the mubtada and original mubtada and khabar becoming maf'ulun awwal and then maf'ulun thani. He says, zanantu rajula shuja'an. Zanantu rajula shuja'an means I thought of the man as a brave person. Now ظننت is فعل ماضي مبني على السكون لاتصاله بتاء الفاعل والتاء ضمير متصل مبني على الضم في محل رفع فاعل. Of course the ظننت you can say the ظن, the ظننت you can say it is فعل ماضي ناسخ مبني على السكون لاتصاله بتاء الفاعل. You can all the types of إعراب, I'm sure now we are aware. You can even say it is مبني على الفتحة منع من ظهورها اشتغال المحل بحركة المناسبة لاتصاله. Arab, as I always say, is expressions. The expression shouldn't be wrong though. Now, we knowing the zanantu, zanna and its fa'il, which is the two, then you have ar-rajula maf'ulun bihi awwal mansub wa alamatu nasbihi al-fatha. Shuja'an maf'ulun bihi thanin mansub wa alamatu nasbihi al-fatha. So already this jumla, what was the jumla? Ar-rajulu shuja'un, the man is brave. But the man is brave suddenly turns into I thought of the man to be brave, or I thought of the man as a brave person. The man and the brave both becomes the maf'ul for the zanna. So that is the third category. So these are the three categories of the nawasikh. Then Sheikh tells us here, فَأَمَّا كَانَ وَأَخْوَاتُهَا. As for Kana and its sisters, so we take Kana وَأَخْوَاتُهَا first. It says فإنها ترفع الاسم وتنصب الخبر وهي كان وأمسى وأصبح وأضحى وظل وبات وصار وليس وما زال ومن فك وما فتئ وما برح وما دام. These are the كان وأخواتها. You كان وأخواتها, you can find them anywhere, anytime, with just a click of the hand. And then he says وما تصرف منها. Yani these verbs, these are verbs. Kana and all these swara, asbaha, zalla, and even the madama. Dama part is a verb. Jamil. Manfakka, infakka is a verb. Ma bariha, bariha is a verb. Jamil, you remember in the story of Sayyidina Musa and his boy, when they were going to meet Sayyidina Khidr or Sayyidina Khadr, as per the whoever says it. Sayyidina Musa at a point tells his alayhi salam, tells his servant or his boy, La abrahu. Abrahu is coming from this bariha, ma bariha. لا أبرح حتى أبلغ مجمع البحرين أو أمضي حقبة. I mean I would not stop. جميل. So any of the tasrif of these verbs, because they are verbs, أصبح can become يصبح. جميل. صار can become يصير. سر, all those can come. كان يكون كن. So the tasrif of it still works as the كان does. Any of them. So he says وما تصرف منها نحو كان يكون كن أصبح يصبح. تقول كان زيد قائما. كان زيد قائما. You've seen the إعراب already. وليس أمر شاخصا. And likewise the ليس أمر شاخصا. So now you say أمر becomes اسم ليس, not كان. And then the شاخصا becomes خبر ليس. So you use the ليس instead. Then وما أشبه ذلك, and the likes of that. يعني all of them. You can say يصبح أمر شجاعا. أصبح أمر شجاعا. All of them جميل can be used like that. جميل. Says هذا القسم يدخل على المبتدأ والخبر فيرفع الأول ويسمى اسمه وينصب الثاني ويسمى خبره. وهذا القسم 13 وهذا القسم 13 فعلا. This category has 13 verbs. What they do is when they come, they make the mubtada turn into ismu, that particular fi'l, and it becomes marfu, and the khabar becomes khabaru, that particular fi'l, and it is mansub. What are the 13? Let's run through them quickly. It says كان وتفيد اتصاف الاسم بالخبر في الماضي إما مع الانقطاع مثل كان علي منادلا. كان has two usages, but the one is quite popular, which is اتصاف المبتدأ بالخبر في الماضي. So I say كان, when I say الرجل طويل, the man is tall. It's understood that he's still tall. But when I say كان الرجل طويل, it means the man was tall. I'm kind of describing the mubtada with the khabar, but في الماضي, in the past. So that is the كان الرجل يعني بخيلا, the man was a miser. كان الرجل كريما, كان المرأة كريمة, كانت المرأة كريمة. The woman was generous. بمعنى now she's not generous. It has that meaning. So this كان يعني اتصاف لمبتدأ بالخبر في الماضي. That is one of the meanings of كان. The second meaning, which is very important as well, or he says اتصاف المبتدأ بالخبر في الماضي مع الاستمرار. Sometimes it is true. It shows that in the past the person was like this, مع الاستمرار, continuously, and now the person is still like that. So we have وَكَانَ رَبُّكَ قَدِيرًا, your Lord was able. Do you say your Lord was able? No, your Lord was and is still able. So that is how the kana comes. It's not always that it comes to mean was and that is all. Means now the person is not. No, sometimes it comes اتصاف المبتدأ بالخبر في الماضي مع الاستمرار. I need you to take notice of that particular meaning of kana. It is kana comes kana الماضية and then كان الماضية مع الاستمرار. جميل. So that is the meaning of كان. And then أمسى تفيد الاتصاف تفيد الاتصاف في المساء. The same thing, اتصاف المبتدأ بالخبر في المساء. أمسى means to become, but then to become in the evening or in the afternoon coming to evening. So when I say, for example, as they brought here, sorry, I didn't explain the كان علي منادلا for the ماضي. Munadil is somebody that struggles. What do we call them? Those fighters. Those freedom fighters and all these people, yani they struggle. Anybody that fights struggle for a purpose. Munadil, yani who are yunadil. And then the amsa Mahmudun najihan. Yani Muhammad wrote an exams in the morning, then you say Amsa Mahmudun najihan. Yani by evening Mahmud became successful. But in translation, you never see this time a part of the amsa and whatever we are going to see. There is a lot of to become, but with a tag of time in the Arabic version. Amsa shows you and tusbiha shay'an fil masa, to become something, but in the evening. Jamil says asbaha, the asbaha tufidu al-ittisaf fi subh. Asbaha shows to become, but in the morning. So when he says asbaha an-naharu tawilan, yani the daytime has become lengthy. But this example that he even uses doesn't really qualify for the meaning that we want. Let me say asbaha ar-rajulu ja'ian. This could specifically mean that the man woke up in the morning, yani fi subh, hungry. So I'm describing the man with hunger at this particular time of subh. But generally in translation, what do we say? The man has become hungry. Jamil. So be conscious of this. Now we have adha as well as part of this. So adha wa tufidu al-ittisaf fi duha. Ad-duha, you know it, the time after dawn or after morning, getting into the daytime, when the daytime is really coming up. That is around 6 a.m. or 6:30, dependent on where you are. Ad-duha, that is when the sun has really started shooting out. It says ad-duha al-faqihu wari'an. The faqih has become God-fearing. The jurist has become God-fearing. But this become, of course, is at this particular time. ظل وتفيد الاتصاف في الليل مثل ظل زيد قائما. Zaid remained standing. ظل means to remain. But when we say ظل, it has this meaning of night time in it. When I say ظل زيد قائما, even if I don't tell you في الليل, it shows في الليل. Just like as we say Isra is traveling at night. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says Subhanallazi asra bi abdihi laylan, this laylan is mentioned to add an additional meaning, not to necessarily show you the time. Because the asra bi abdihi already shows it was a night trip. The laylan mentioned to show you that it was just a portion of the night, not a layl kullu. Jamil says ba'ata وتفيد الاتصاف في الليل. So bata and zalla, they all shows description in the night, but zalla means to remain. Bata means to spend the night. It could mean to sleep. Bata comes sometimes to mean nama. Says bata najmu lami'an. The star remained sparkling, or the star went through the night sparkling, not remained. The star went throughout the night, was sparkling or was glittering. Jamil. صار تفيد التحول والانتقال. When we say صار الرجل شجاعا, the man has become brave. يعني صار shows انتقال من المرحلة إلى المرحلة أو التحول من شيء إلى شيء آخر. صار means to turn into something else. صار الماء أذبا, the water has become sweet after it was this state. It has changed from that state to this state. That is the meaning of صار. صار الولد شابا, the boy has become a man. He has become a youth, a young man. Says ليس تفيد نفي الخبر في الحال. ليس علي ذاهبا. ليس, it gives us the meaning of negating the khabar from the mubtada in the current time. So when I say ليس الرجل عالما, the man is not learned. It is now. I'm not saying in the future he's not learned. I'm not saying in the past he was. I'm just saying now he's not learned. Jamil. So ليس علي ذاهبا. Ali is not going. And then we have ما زال, من فك, ما فتئ, ما برح. They put all together because they have the same meaning. It says تفيد ملازمة الخبر للاسم بقدر ما يقتضيه الحال ولا بد أن يتقدمها نفي أو شبهه. This bariha, fatiha, and fakka, and all these verbs, they must definitely be preceded by the ma or nafi in general. Jamil. With this said, all of them, what do they mean? they point to the fact that the khabar is with the mubtada always. Yani, when I say, for example, as they bring to us here, ma zala al-waladu jalisan, it shows that this sifa of julus is with the boy till now. Mulazamata al-khabar lil-ism, ay lil-mubtada. It shows that the khabar is with the mubtada as he is. So if I give the khabar as a state, like I say, ma zala al-waladu jamilan, yani the boy is still beautiful. So this sifa of beauty is still with the boy. Jamil. It says, ما زال الولد جالسا, the boy is still sitting. من فك أحمد جالسا, Ahmad is still sitting. ما فتئ عمرو أو عمر محسنا, Umar is still doing good, he's still doing charity. ما برح علي مجتهدا, Ali is still hard working. Jamil. And then he says, Madama. So if you look at these ones, the mama, they list all the ma, but they leave out the madama. So the ones they list here for us, the mazala, manfakka, ma fatiha, ma bariha, their ma is ma nafiya. Ma nafiya. So if you have a copy like mine, you see the i'rab down there. The mazala, say the ma is nafiya. مبني ما نافية مبني على السكون لا محل له من الإعراب. Then the zala becomes فعل ماضي ناقص يرفع الاسم وينصب الخبر لا محل له من الإعراب basically. And then you bring your اسم زالة مبني اسم زالة مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة, and then the خبر زالة منصوب وعلامة نصبه الفتحة. So that is the ما زال من فك ما فتح ما برح. But then the ما دام, is it the same? No. The ma in the ما دام is not the ma of the others. It's not nafi. That ma is ma masdariyya, zamaniyya. It is a ma that forms a masdar with the fi'l that comes after it, and it shows zaman. Yani for this period of time, you see it clearly with the examples. It says ما دام تفيد ملازمة الخبر للاسم أيضا. It also shows the same thing, that the khabar is still with the mubtada. ولا بد أن يتقدمها ما المصدرية, and it must definitely be preceded by ما المصدرية. الظرفية, which is الظرفية الزمنية. It shows adverb of time. It says مثل قوله تعالى, like the statement of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran, وأوصاني بالصلاة والزكاة ما دمت حيا. ما دمت أي في هذه المدة, في مدة دوامي حيا, in the time that I am still alive. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordered me to do salat, to do zakat. Now this ma shows this time. It is the one. Dama means to persist. The ma means that throughout the time. So madama could mean throughout the time that you persist on this particular state of being alive. So the ma is ma al-masdariyya al-zamaniyya, ma al-masdariyya al-zarfiyya al-zamaniyya. Before the dama becomes is fi'l madi mabni ala al-fath or fi'l madi naqis mabni ala al-fath la mahalla lahu min al-i'rab. جميل. ومثل لا أزورك ما دام علي فاعلا. I would not visit you so long as Ali is doing, or Ali is in action. So long as, so madama, that is the meaning it gives us. Now we come to وما تصرف منها, the text of وما تصرف منها. He says يعني أن ما تصرف من هذه الأفعال يعمل عمل ماضيه كونه يرفع الاسم وينصب الخبر وهي. All the ones we've spoken about, they are ماضي. But then those among them that undergoes tasrif, they function just as the madi does. Like they also have ismu yakunu, ismu yusbihu مبني على مرفوع وعلامة رفعه كذا, خبر يصبح منصوب. They all function the same, whether it is mudari, whether it is amr. He says كان يكون كن, like you say كن شجاعا. So kun is the fi'l amr. What is the ism? The ism is damirun عفوا. the اسم كان is ضمير محذوف تقديره أنت. تقديره أنت يعني كن أنت شجاعا. So the اسم كان is محذوف. The خبر is the شجاعا. So the كن which is فعل الأمر does the same thing. And then we have أصبح يصبح أصبح, where we have أمسى يمسي and then أمسي. أضحى يضحي and then أضح. Let me see something here. جميل. So we have أضحى يضحي أضحي ظل يظل and then بات يبيت صار يصير. And then he says وينقسم هذه الأفعال من جهة التصرف إلى 3 أقسام. With this أفعال that we've seen, the 13, when you look at their تصرف, how they undergo تصريف, you realize that they are in 3 categories. How? القسم الأول, the first category, ما يتصرف في الفعلية تصرفا كاملا. Some of them they have ماضي مضارع أمر. ماضي مضارع أمر. That is تصرفا كاملا. Some of them are like that. And these ones, he says أن يأتي منه الماضي والمضارع والأمر وهو 7 أفعال, and they are 7. كان صار أصبح ظل أمسى أضحى بات. These 7, they undergo complete صرف. Then القسم الثاني ما يتصرف تصرفا ناقصا. There are those that undergo تصريف, but then ناقص, they don't go through the 3 تصريف. جميل. وهو الأربعة المسبوقة بما النافية. The 4 that are preceded with ما النافية, they undergo صرف. فيأتي منه الماضي والمضارع فقط. You have ماضي coming out of those ones. ما زال ما فتح ما برح ما انفك. These 4, the فتح برح انفك and then all these verbs. زال. You have the فعل ماضي and then you have the فعل مضارع from it. You don't have the فعل أمر. So he says فتح انفك برح زال. These are the 4. They undergo ماضي and مضارع. لأن القسم الثالث ما لا يتصرف أصلا وهو فعلان ليس ودام. There are those, the 3rd category, that doesn't go تصريف at all. It is just ماضي only, and that is the ليس and the دام in this particular session. There's فائدة. غير الماضي من هذه الأفعال يعمل عمل الماضي. The مضارع, the أمر of this أفعال, it functions just as the ماضي that we saw. جميل. In our next lesson, we'll be looking at the second الناسخ, which is إن وأخواتها inshallah. May Allah grant us long life, long blessed life, so that we are able to go through all these materials and strengthen us financially, strengthen us in health, strengthen us in all angles in terms of knowledge as well. Till we meet on that particular lesson, don't forget to share, don't forget to subscribe if not done so, and don't forget to leave a like if the lessons have been beneficial. Also, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to put it out there for us to deliberate on. Till we meet again, have a very good Arabic time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.